Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan from All Things Carry. I'm out here on the Olympic Peninsula. It's a rainy day, but today I've got the Tom Bihn Synik 26 in the all-new Spectron material that I'm going to be reviewing for you all today. All right, guys, I'm back in Seattle. Spent the weekend on the peninsula with the new Spectron Synik 26, and I really love this material. I love the Synik 26 the first time I got it in Parapack and Navy Parapack, but this Spectron, in my opinion, takes it up another level. Now, I'd say compared to Halcyon, I think this is a great successor. I think Tom Bihn has done a really great job sourcing this new material. They really were very thoughtful and didn't just settle on really anything, it seems. Spent a couple of years and really found something great as far as replacement goes. I would say that, I don't unfortunately have any of my Halcyon bags with me, but comparing them, I think that Spectron feels very durable and it's really flexible while keeping its shape well. It's really not a flimsy material. It does have a little bit of a shine to it. The pictures online, I'd say, don't, really compare to having it in real life. I think it's less shiny in real life. That diamond grid kind of pattern, it is really nice in my opinion. It definitely has a lot more texture compared to Halcyon. At first, I didn't know if I would like that. A lot of folks were, kind of skeptical, but you really can't tell how nice of a fabric and material Spectron is until you really get it in hand. And when I was in the showroom the other day, I was speaking with some of the folks at Tom Bihn and asking, if we will see this fabric in other colors eventually. And the answer right now is yes. Tom Bihn obviously did a kind of conservative release, which is totally understandable with a all new fabric, where they only did it in black for now, but I've been told that it is a possibility in the future that we will see some of the some colors like we did with Halcyon, maybe not the same colors, but we will probably see some of the grid on this bag even in black outlined in, say, white, kind of like that OG Halcyon or black Halcyon. So a lot more is in the works with Tom Bihn as far as this fabric goes, but this is really the test for now to see how folks like it. And, the reception that I've heard, at least so far, is that, it's being received well. So excited to see how they further develop it in the near future here. And like Halcyon and like fabrics like Ultra and Dyneema, Spectron is ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. That is a mouthful, but it is that same type of fabric, so it has a lot of the same properties. With that you get great strength against abrasion. You get that water resistance that a lot of us love in a more technical fabric, and you get a really lightweight material. So I think this, again, first impressions, is a really great fabric, and I'm really stoked to see Tom Bihn offer it. So yeah, I really recommend that you give Spectron a shot. Maybe you've seen some of the pictures and you just don't love that diamond grid stop pattern. Once you get this in hand though, I think you will enjoy it. I think it's really a winner again, and really can't wait to see what Tom Bihn does in the coming months and years developing Spectron further. And I also really love how this fabric does a great job at repelling pet hair, lint, dirt. I was, over the weekend while I was on the peninsula, was around a dog that sheds a ton, and this bag really did not pick up any hair. Maybe on the back, on the mesh, there was a little bit, but it's the same mesh that Tom Bihn uses on all of their Synik packs, so expected there, but it's super, lint and hair repellent, especially compared to fabrics like Cordura. This is, similar to, say, X-Pack, like a VX21. or Ultra 400 in terms of that repellent for pet hair. I also think that Spectron, in my opinion, is going to be more of a durable fabric and material. I think it's going to last longer than Halcyon did. Obviously, Halcyon was 400D, whereas this is 420. Not a big difference there, but first impressions right off the bat, I think it's going to last longer. It's going to last a really long time. Not quite as robust as, say, Ultra 400 or obviously 800, but I think it's obviously a much more pliable, flexible material. And in a bag like the Synik 26, it gives you that more flexibility if you're really trying to pack this thing out. I think the Synik 26 and really all Syniks, in my opinion, will excel in this fabric due to it again being lighter weight, lighter than ballistic nylon, more pliable and flexible than ballistic nylon, and really almost as durable. Really at least as durable enough for virtually all situations that someone would be using this bag, whether it be EDC or light travel. I think it's going to really excel there. And now I will switch to the overhead view and we'll show you the loadout that I took with me this weekend for the Spectron S26. All right, guys, so an overhead view of what I packed out in the Spectron S26 for the weekend. And apologies if these shadows are bad, trying out a new setup here with the overhead view. But starting with the chin pocket, I always tend to put my Evergoods Cap 1 in here. And this one is actually in VX42, X-Pack VX42, which is, kind of comparable to Spectron, I would say. It's good opportunity for me to compare the two. As you can see, Spectron is a lot more flexible of a material than the VX42. It's a lot more rigid. Both are really water resistant. But yeah, just kind of wanted to highlight that as well. So got the Cap 1 here. And you'll see that beautiful Sitka in here. I love the colorway here. I think it's awesome. And through these purple zipper pulls on here, which I think is a fun contrasting color. So moving into the side pocket here, I typically store my glasses cases in the side pockets here. Tend to carry 2 pairs with me, one prescription, one non. So love having those on the side. I've got a small travel tray here with some little things as well. That is that side pocket. Other side, got glasses case in here as well. Got a couple other little things. Got some Advil, eye drops, hand sanitizer, just little odds and ends in there. Then, of course, the quick access small pocket here. Just got some tissues in there. Typically keep my AirPods in there as well. And then the water bottle pocket, I've got my Lark bottle. I think this is 23 ounces in here, so great spot for that. Let's see, moving on into the main compartment. Zippers are still nice and stiff. I have my Evergoods transit packing cube in here, 8-liter. Just got my change of clothes for the weekend that I brought in here. Got my Cap 2 with all my camera gear and some odds and ends for electronic accessories in there. And then I've got my GoRuck Shadow Pocket. This is the Kaiden 3.0 in Ultra 400. And it's awesome that I have this as well because I wanted to compare Ultra to Spectron. Ultra, I've had this since it came out. I use it really frequently for traveling, for kind of a DOP kit, or for medications, for supplements. It's a perfect size for that, and it's pretty well worn in. You can see that grid pattern really, shown here. It's really peeking through since it's broken in well. It's not a very pliable material, even when broken in. It's still pretty rigid. And compared to Spectron, the Spectron is a lot more pliable, less rigid of a material. They're both, around the same denier, 400 versus 420. So, pretty good comparison, I would say, but Spectron still is a lot more pliable. And then finally, I have my iPad Pro 13-inch in here as well, which fits really nicely in the Synik 26. It's easy to get out from the top here. Also very easy. I'll show you from the side axis as well. I do also now have a MacBook Pro 16-inch for work, which I will say does not unfortunately fit through the side access slot here, which I really wish it did. That is maybe my one thing that I wish Tom Bihn would have done a little differently. I think they could have maybe extended that zipper, maybe straightened it out a little further towards the end here. But I think it's nice. It still does fit through the main compartment in the inside. But here's the iPad as well. This is in a keyboard case as well, so nice that that fits perfectly. All right, guys, so final thoughts after my first couple of days with Spectron. I think this fabric, if you can't tell by now, is a winner. I'm really excited for Tom Bihn. I think they did a great job, again, sourcing this material and adding it to their lineup. I think they really rolled it out well with some of the larger bags, and now they're diving into some of the smaller bags with their latest pre-order. I really think this is an upgrade to Halcyon, not just a successor. So really happy to that, those are my thoughts right now. If you've been following along with my journey through bags so far, you know that I got into Tom Bihn after Halcyon was already not in existence anymore, not being produced anymore. So keep that in mind. I do have a couple other Halcyon bags, so obviously a lot of experience handling those. But again, I think this is really a great material. And I'm really excited to see what Tom Bihn does in the future with Spectron. And if you've liked this review and my first impressions of Spectron, go ahead and give me that thumbs up and subscribe to All Things Carry. Goes a long way to ensuring that I can continue bringing you this content. Thank y'all. Take care.